We welcome you to the WCC this week, and we have a great ball game for you from here at the Levy Center in Santa Clara. It's the hometown Santa Clara Broncos against the visitors from Provo, BYU. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. Today, my partner, Brad Holland. And Brad, we got a team licking its wounds off a tough road loss coming in against a team that is 3-0 in the conference and has one win on the road already. Should be a great matchup today.
Great matchup. Two even teams, right, in a lot of different categories. But this is a home game for Santa Clara. And even though it's early in conference, they got to take care of their home floor. I think it's a must-win for Santa Clara.
All right, speaking of home games, we got a guy who's been around the Levy Center. Well, he's been around the Levy Center when it was a parking lot. Talking about Carroll Williams. Played just down the road in San Jose, but coached for a long time here. Was the athletic director here for a long time, and one of the true good guys in college basketball. And Carroll Williams joins us now. And Carroll, it's really great to see the Magic come back here. Tough year in Santa Clara, to be sure, last year, but it's all back now, isn't it?
They're playing much better this year, Barry. And like Brad said earlier, it's a home game for them, and they got to take care of the home advantage anyway.
It's got to be very gratifying for you to come into the Levy Center. Last game was a sellout. It really kind of is a throwback to the days when you had some pretty darn good teams here.
Well, that was quite a few years ago. But anyway, yeah, they played awfully well against Gonzaga, who's a terrific team. And I've seen a lot of games on the West Coast this year. I think Gonzaga is one of the best teams on the West Coast, certainly.
Coach, if there was one thing you could change in the college game today to improve it, what would that be?
Wow, that's a tough question. I think it's a great game, but, you know, and there's so many different styles. I love the college game. I mean, there's probably 100 ways to play, and you see it, if you watch a lot of games, you see it every day. But I like the three-point play. I didn't like it when it first came in, and I think it's really added to the game. And I started, along with Barry, they used to jump center after a basket way back when we were in grammar school. And, so there's been a lot of changes, but I think it's a terrific game. The tournament, the NCAA tournament, is sensational, and we're all striving for that.
I was 5'7". I never jumped center. You were a big guy. You did. It's got to be really gratifying to you, though, Coach, to see a guy like Kevin Foster. I mean, this guy is going to wind up being, with one more, the all-time leading three-point scorer in this conference. You yourself were a pretty darn good shooter. Some of us out there still remember that, but you got to look at a guy like Foster and say, boy, this game has really evolved.
Well, he can score. He can really score points. He's a good passer as well. You don't always see that, but in the Gonzaga game I saw was a terrific example of Kevin Foster at his best. I mean, he penetrated, gave the ball up, made shots that he had to make. He's a very versatile player. There's no question about that.
All right, Carroll, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us.
Great to see you guys.
You are a fixture in this place. It's always great to see you year in and year out.
Thanks, Barry.
That's Carroll Williams, one-time coach, one-time athletic director here at Santa Clara, and a great fan. And Brad, let's talk a look. We talked about Foster. He's only half of what is a terrific backcourt matchup today.
Boy, two great scorers, Barry. I mean, Tyler Haws is 10th nationally. He's first in the conference in scoring. He's an outstanding rebounder from the guard position, and he's shooting 42% from three. And then Kevin Foster is right behind him in points scored. He's really added the dimension that he finds teammates in transition in the half court. He's getting a lot of assists this year, and he's leading the league in steals. And so, but in terms of BYU, it really starts with Tyler Haws. He's got a great mid-range game. He can't only shoot the three. And then they have a great fast break game. They really get it out in transition. Matt Carlino, their lead guard, leads the break many times. And all of their team, they're great passers and great finishers on their fast break.
But you said earlier, everything on this BYU team really goes through this guy right here, Brandon Davies.
Very inside-out attack. They want a lot of touches from Brandon Davies. He's one of the best big men in the league. I mean, he can go right shoulder, left shoulder, great footwork, finish with either hand. So he's going to get a lot of touches tonight.
A lot of guys who could play this game tonight, and a lot of offense on both sides. Well, if you want to know just how good a guard is, a guy like Kevin Foster, what you need to do is ask the guards who are going to be playing against him. That's what we did. Here's what they had to say.
I think just making him earn his points, making him hit tough shots. He's a guy that can get hot quick and can hit shots from anywhere, and so he's a guy we really got to focus on and know where he's at all times on the floor.
Just play team defense. Our team defense has been getting better. We didn't have the best team defense game against San Francisco, but we came out with the win. And I mean, in LMU and Virginia Tech, we played pretty good team defense. So I think we're just building on our defense. And if we can play good defense, we know we can score points.
So BYU comes in here 3-0. Santa Clara, on the other hand, has played arguably two of the three toughest teams in the conference, losing to Gonzaga and playing BYU today and then losing on the road at LMU. So what happened at LMU and what needs to change? That was the subject of Brad Holland's conversation with Santa Clara coach Kerry Keating.
We got to bounce back coming off a disappointing loss on Thursday night on the road. We were fortunate to come back at home, albeit against one of the better teams and programs in our conference. And they do what they do, and they maintain that with a lot of different bodies coming and going. But for this year, it's all about Davies and obviously Carlino coming back, and they returned Tyler from the mission. So they got their big three rolling pretty good. They know what they do. They stick to it. They're obviously an up-tempo team. They actually defend a lot better than they get credit for. So I'm looking for a very physical game today and excited to be playing this game. We're exactly where we want to be, coming back, taking on one of the better teams in our league.
Last year was a difficult year for you. A lot of injuries. Wins were hard to come by. But you're 12-5 at this point. How are you feeling about your team?
Feel great. I mean, we're at a place where doing the right thing is way more valued and way more important than winning games. It's important that we learn lessons through mistakes made, but also through some hardships. And we certainly had that at both ends last year, both with Kevin and with Mark. And then as a result of that, the team. Because at the end of the day, when you put this team together, we are trying to win and put them in a position to be successful on the court. But more importantly, it's about them being successful off the court. And we spent a lot of time on that after the season was over, preparing them from a mental standpoint. I give our guys a lot of credit that a lot of people have, and that they're all still here. In a day and age where it's easy to get up and go and the attention span is about that of a fly, guys just go and move on to the next thing. I'm really proud of our kids for all staying here and sticking together and now having the chance to come back with Mark, with Kevin, both better than they were before last season. And the whole team has experienced, although through a tough one, went through a great off season. And I'm not surprised we are where we are, feeling really good about where we can still go. And that's all going to start with trying to go 1-0 today.
But you got to hold serve at home, and that's Santa Clara's job today. It won't be easy against a very good BYU team. When WCC This Week comes back, Chris McGee and Dave Miller, they'll be in the studio to get you all caught up on all the action from West Coast Conference play.
Welcome back to WCC This Week in Los Angeles. I'm Chris McGee alongside the coach, Dave Miller. How you doing, Coach?
Ready for some highlights?
Yes, you are. Let's get you out to the highlights from earlier this week. Kevin Pangos and number 9 Gonzaga taking on St. Mary's. The Bulldogs crowd always ready to go. First half, Pangos dishes Kelly Olynyk. He's going to throw down the jam. Zags up 11-4 early. Later in the first half, Pangos spot up, hit the deep three. Gonzaga up 7. Still in the first, Coach. Here's a nice move.
Olynyk, he's got the nice face up. He gives a spin move, makes the layup. Gonzaga up 7.
Zags look like they're running away with it. Stockton, long pass. Elias Harris for the layup. They're up 18 at the half. But, Coach, St. Mary's not going away.
No, Stephen Holt came on strong. He hits the tough layup, and his parents are excited. Holt had 23 for the game.
St. Mary's now down 6. Bo Levick hits the 3. St. Mary's only down 3. But, Coach, here's young Stockton again.
Stockton in transition. Bounce pass to Olynyk for the layup and 1. Gonzaga up 8 after the free throw.
Less than a minute 30 left. Matthew Dellavedova. He's going to hit the deep 3. St. Mary's down just 3 again. 13 seconds left. St. Mary's has a shot at it. Dellavedova, he's going to miss the 3. Gonzaga wins 83-78. Olynyk 31 points and 8 rebounds. Gersten Pavilion, home of the Lions. Loyola Marymount hosting Santa Clara. Mark Tressolini gets away from the defense underneath the basket for the easy flush. Santa Clara jumps out to the early lead. Broncos would keep up the pressure in the first half. Rockamore drains the 3. He was 4 of 5 behind the arc. Second half, Lions coming back. Ireland, difficult contested layup. The Lions are stepping it up on D. They force a turnover, get out on the break. Ashley Hamilton with the dunk. And then Ireland, Anthony Ireland, he's going to cap it off. He's going to drain the 3 from deep. Ireland 29 points, 8 assists. Lions come back to take this one 84-80. We go to BYU and Pepperdine. Matt Carlino and BYU are 2-0 so far. WCC play. Off the turnover, Brandon Davies. He's out ahead for the big dunk, Coach.
Oh, look at the big fella run in transition. It's almost like he's a gazelle.
Second half, Pepperdine up 3. Lauren Jackson with the crossover layup. Waves by 5. But BYU would go on a 12-0 run off the steal. Carlino finds Craig Cusick, the nifty pass.
Good. Like the over-the-shoulder dime, Craig Cusick with the finish.
BYU pulling away. Tyler Hawes, he hits the jumper. BYU wins 76-51. Pepperdine, Brandon Armstrong is not walking through that door. From the War Memorial Gymnasium, it was the San Diego Toreros on the road beating the San Francisco Dons 70-66. Johnny D leading San Diego with 17 points, including 4 of 8 from three-point land. San Diego improves to 9-8 overall and 2-0 in the WCC. San Francisco drops to 0-3 in conference play. Here's what the conference standings look like. Gonzaga at the top at 3-0. BYU 3-0. San Diego also undefeated in conference play. Pepperdine at 1-2. Portland and San Francisco at the bottom still looking for their first conference wins. All right, Coach, let's break down St. Mary's and Gonzaga. Gonzaga just looks phenomenal, especially at home, and they're doing it behind Kelly Olynyk. Another great game for him, 31 points.
Well, when you think of Olynyk, I think of the most improved basketball player in Division I basketball. He redshirted last year, but he practiced every day versus our current Laker, Robert Sacre, and it's paying big dividends. He can score in transition, the post, he can shoot the 3-ball, and he's also a good free throw shooter. This is a young man that has guard skills with a 7-foot frame.
And I must say, Stephen Holt got St. Mary's back in that ball game. Huge second half.
Well, he certainly did. He made an impact in the game, and I thought that St. Mary's was just going to lay down, but it was his offensive fire and spark that got them going.
Full slate of games today, Coach. What are you looking forward to the most?
Well, I think Portland at LMU is interesting to me. Portland is going to be looking for their first win. And this is a team that runs systems on both sides of the ball. Expect to see a lot of flex action offensively. And then they rely on their 2-2-1 full court press, and they drop back to a 2-3. On the other side, you're looking at LMU that is led by Anthony Ireland. And their aggressive defense is going to look to disrupt the flex and make them pay. You know one thing about LMU, Max Good's teams, they play extremely hard and they're well scouted. Expect that to be an X&O battle.
Yeah, Portland looking for that first win in conference and looking for their first road win of the year. Okay, game of the week, BYU Santa Clara. What will you have your eye on?
Well, this is a team in BYU that likes to get out the floor in transition, and they have a shooter, Tyler Hawes, that leads the WCC in scoring at 20.9 points per game. He's got a mid-range J. He can catch and shoot. He's excellent at reading screens. He's very unselfish. He can put it on the floor. He's a lot like LL Cool J. He's doing it, and he's doing it well. Expect to see also a lot of rim running. Brandon Davies likes to get out. He's a double-double guy, but he's quick. He runs the floor. It's going to be an exciting game with two excellent coaches in Dave Rose and Keating going head-to-head.
All right, great stuff right there, Coach. Love what BYU has brought to the conference. Coming up, an insider's look at why BYU is poised for a longer postseason run than last year's tournament team. Gonzaga center Kelly Olynyk is the WCC Player of the Week after averaging 23.7 points per game in 3 road wins last week. In addition, Olynyk took home WCC Player of the Month honors for December with 18.1 points per game. All right, with their victory over Pepperdine Thursday, BYU improved to 13-4 on the season and 3-0 in the WCC. This group of Cougars will seek a 7th straight NCAA Tournament appearance for BYU and 28th in school history. But after last season's tournament victory over Iona, this group of players acknowledges the unique feel of this season.
Drives it strong, right to the rim, up and in, Brandon Davies.
I think it's a big difference just being familiar with all the teams, the players, the arenas, just everything. I think it's a lot different from last year, considering even for the coaches, because I mean they're confident in what they're telling us with the game plans because they've seen the year. So I mean it makes a big difference.
I think our fans really enjoyed teams coming into the Marriott Center. You know, we sold out quite a few games against teams that are brand new for our fans, and so I'm excited about the future of our program and the future of the league.
LMU got us at home last year here, and they came in this year and they didn't have as much good fortune.
Carlino, another three.
I think it's just not taking any games for granted, protecting your home court.
When you made it to the NCAA tournament, you've actually been able to win a game in the tournament. It is really exciting for your players, especially your young players, guys who haven't experienced that before.
And he gives to Silstra with 26 seconds to go. Brock driving way in, good. And one.
Well, that game as a whole had so many emotions in it. That last play that kind of sealed the deal of the game, it was just, you know, finally that we accomplished, you know, this comeback and this overcoming adversity and being down 25 points. It was just letting everything out and just the raw emotion of a game and what basketball can do to any player once you have success and you do something that seems impossible. It's just all that emotion that comes out.
Davies right elbow out to Tyler again for three. He did it again. Tyler Haws, 26 points in about 10 minutes of floor time.
My off-season workouts, I wanted to kind of take things really slow and take things one step at a time, and you know, I hit the weight room hard and tried to get back in shape the best I could, and it's been fun. It's been a fun start to our season, and I'm happy with where we're at right now.
There's Tyler. Tyler posting up on Johnson, gets right to the rim, lays it up and in! There's 40 for Tyler Haws!
The West Coast Conference definitely has lots of great teams, lots of great talent. I've only played in one place so far, but I'm excited to see the rest of them and play against some new teams.
Leaves it for Haws. Good looking pass.
It definitely got loud in there, and it was a great team we played against. And you know, a lot of these teams play really well at home, so we got to be ready to play every game.
I think it was a little different last year compared to this year. This year, it was more of a full game. I mean, last year I just, first couple of minutes of the game, I looked up the scoreboard and I had like 26 or something like that. So it was a little different. They're a really good team at home, so we were fortunate to get them there.
Carlino all the way in.
Great tradition. I mean, we walked in that San Francisco gym and we saw Bill Russell's jersey hanging up and Casey Jones. I mean, those are some big names.
Here's Haws for three.
Knowing the conference, knowing who you have to beat, knowing the personnel of the conference, I think we have an amazing group here, and I think we can definitely contend for the WCC championship.
There's still lots of things that we can do to improve individually and collectively as a whole, and you know, if we keep doing that, I feel pretty good with our chances.
And here's a look at the WCC game of the week schedule. Today it's BYU at Santa Clara. That tips off at 1:30. Next week it's Loyola Marymount taking on San Francisco. And Coach, BYU, such a consistent program, and they've brought so much to the WCC conference.
Well, they actually brought more national recognition when you look at that program. It's a team that is synonymous with NCAA appearances, Chris.
Now, what makes Coach Dave Rose so effective?
Well, he certainly is one of the better X and O coaches in the country, but knowing him and having coached against him, what he is more a teacher of the game, and not the game of basketball, but the game of life. He uses basketball to teach life lessons. He's really a great leader in his own right.
All right, that's all the time we have. I'm Chris McGee. This is Coach Dave Miller. We'll get you back out to the Levy Center just after this.
We welcome you back to the WCC This Week. We are at the Levy Center here in Santa Clara, waiting to tip-off between BYU and the hometown Santa Clara Broncos. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, my partner, Brad Holland. And one of the things BYU is going to have to deal with, maybe more than anything else, and that is the offense of Kevin Foster. I mean, this is a guy that before day's end, will be the leading all-time three-point shooter in the West Coast Conference. He looks for the three-point shot, got a great crossover there, can create a shot for himself. Leading scorer all-time here at Santa Clara. He has done everything that could be asked of him. As you look at his numbers, and he's in there with some pretty good company, I'd say, Brad.
It doesn't get more significant than that. He's surpassed the great Kurt Rambis and, of course, Steve Nash for a career, and it's counting. I mean, he's going to end up easily the all-time scorer for many, many years to come.
So what the job of BYU is going to be is to figure out how to stop Kevin Foster. And, oh, by the way, Kevin Foster does get a lot of help from his friends, but he's the guy that you got to stop first. And that is the plight of Dave Rose today. You heard Dave Miller in the studio say he teaches life lessons. Today, I think the lesson in life is going to be, how do I stop Kevin Foster? Brad Holland spoke with Coach Rose.
Well, our whole team's going to have to be aware. We're going to have to be aware where he is, and in transition, where they're really good is on offensive rebounds. He gets to space, and they can get that ball out to him. So it's going to take a team effort from all of our coaching staff and all of our players on the court to know where he's at and to challenge his shots.
Now, you guys coming in here, 3-0, leading a lot of statistical categories in the conference, steals, rebounds, points, etc. What do you expect from your team tonight?
Well, hopefully we can play consistently for 40 minutes. That's the real key for us. I think against a team like Santa Clara, who scores the ball so well, and they always have three guards on the floor who are capable of 25, 30-point games. Great rebounders up front, and then with Trasolini, I mean, it's a team where we're going to have to consistently score, and then defensively, you're going to have to stay out of foul trouble.
All right, Brad, well, it's a given. We know that both teams can score, so what's the bottom line to this game? What's going to wind up making the difference?
In my opinion, Barry, it's the war on the boards. Who gets the most rebounds? And then really it's as simple as who shoots the highest percentage? Who puts it in the basket more often?
Yeah, the way these teams shoot, there may be no rebounds. I don't know. We'll see. So for Santa Clara, they have a lot of scores. For BYU, they have a lot of scores. And that's one of the things I really like about this game. It's not just one guy for each team.
Exactly. Both teams have multiple dynamic scores, a big three on each team. This is going to be a fun game. Big offensive game.
All right, we're just about set to go with it then. It's Santa Clara and it's BYU from here at the Levy Center. Should be a great basketball game. This has been the WCC This Week. We'll have the tip-off coming up after this.